You join the channel here or over on Subscribe Star. So Tom Cruise, what if he was mostly right all along? Tom Cruise is living his best life, and Hollywood could learn a lot from Tom Cruise. They're not going to learn anything from Tom Cruise, but they definitely should be taking notes. They don't think they need to learn anything from anyone. So he released a 10-minute behind the scenes for Mission Impossible, which I saw on his Twitter account, where he seemed to be working hard to make a fun movie that people will enjoy, which seems like a weird concept where everything else in Hollywood seems to be focused on lecturing us on whatever globalist cancer du jour. Make movies that people want to see. Well, we should quick write that down. Hollywood focuses on anti-white, misandrist navel gazing. And it's like, oh, what gross exaggeration. Oh, really? Oh, really, Ninja? Go look back to movies over the past 15 years. How do they make yet another movie about blonde-haired, blue-eyed people be the antagonists? Oh, I know. Thank God for Spielberg. We have time-traveling Hugo Boss. I'm sure that'll do well. It probably will do well because people like Harrison Ford so much. So apparently the Oscars are still a thing. It's an awards ceremony for films that you've never heard of and nobody goes to see, but they get awards because the people who cheered for Weinstein need to virtue signal to a non-existent audience. And when you say it aloud, it sounds pretty weird. Now, here's the thing that got my attention about Tom Cruise. I've been starting to pay attention to him because of the movies he's made. The Eyes Wide Shut is one, but then he made the other one, Vanilla Sky. It's like those two movies. You kind of watch them, then you kind of look at Tom Cruise, and you feel like, or Stanley Kubrick to his credit. Stanley Kubrick, Isaac Cappy were some real ones. Got to pour one out for them. Like they were trying to tell you. I suspect it sounds so tinfoil hat. Really, look around current year. You think a lot of this stuff is effing tinfoil hat. Eyes Wide Shut is one. It's like, oh, it's just it's just a parody on like what people think the elite do. It's like, really? Because I mean, have you been following the actual news? Not the tinfoil hat news, but I mean the actual news. Like how much? What was Tom Cruise and Stanley Kubrick? Oh, it's just it's just gross exaggeration. Really? Maybe. I don't know if it's as hyperbolic as I would have said it was 20 years ago, which I think I saw that film in the theater. So here's the thing that got my attention about Tom Cruise. He's the peak of Hollywood, but he was always been a touch outside Hollywood, probably because he was in Scientology, which, don't get me wrong, has got some issues with hounding anyone who leaves it. They have a Twitter site that goes after, I don't know, that girl Leanne Rimes or something, which I read her book. I was on vacation, and like somebody had the book in the house we rented. It was fascinating, and they'll go after anyone who leaves Scientology. So it's like they've got cringe aspects of their organization, but they also don't have a reputation for Epsteining kids like Hollywood does. So balance the equation there. So I remember reading Hubbard's science fiction stuff decades ago. He wrote one series. It was like 10 books long, and then Battlefield Earth, which was like thousands of pages, ridiculous, overly written, but fun, enjoyable stuff. And he was very much against psychiatry, which I didn't think too much about at the time. I thought, hey, if you can make drugs to help people, why not? Better living through chemistry. But as it turns out, it's a slippery slope to helping someone who's got like florid behavior. They can't function in society whatsoever, versus prescribing drugs where you should be focusing on changing the behavior and even completely reformatting society that created that environment where sickness could flourish. Which sounds a bit nutty, but if you look at a society of people who are popping pills and then say, oh, hey, maybe this structure of society is kind of off course. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's, like I said, if there's something that only pharmacology can address, then by all means. But is it something that only pharmacology can address, or would behavioral changes address it? I was like, then why are you resorting to chemicals? Maybe the structure of society is off course. Let's take the cover off the machine, get inside the hardware to address these short circuits before the system melts down. That seems like a reasonable option. Is Scientology the best option? In my opinion, probably not. But to each their own. If it works for you, knock yourself out. I don't want those wacky Scientologists coming after me. But the point is to start breaking down barriers and look at the people behind the curtains. Anyway, so Tom Cruise does seem a little bit nutty, except like, is he actually nutty, or is that the reputation the mainstream media is pushing on us? And you think like, oh, he was with Oprah Winfrey and he's acting out. And you're like, yeah, but look at Oprah Winfrey, and remember that Like look at the skeletons in Oprah Winfrey's closet. And you have that one image of her offering that blonde girl to Weinstein. And then you look at Tom Cruise, it's like, is he really nutty, or is he just living his best life, having being at the time young and fun? He doesn't actually have a bad reputation. I think it's that he's living his best life. He's healthy, he's fit, he takes care of himself, he's making movies that people seem to enjoy. So I think he seems nutty because from our toxic perspective, anything healthy seems unusual. Is he right about Scientology? I don't think so, but he might be right about the casual pharmacology where people are prescribed pills and there's zero behavior modification. But it seems like the sickness is at the civilization level where you've got doctors taking part in the insanity because there's what happened to first do no harm. There's no longer any national structure. The country isn't a nation, it's a commercial zone, so there's no guiding morality or tribalism. There's nothing, which ends up with doctors being part of the machine, part of the problem, because they're cogs in the medical insurance machine, and there's nothing to stop them in a commercial zone country. Doctors don't run hospitals. You know that. So what are you fighting for? American values. Well, what are those? Drag queen story hour and bringing butt sex to the Middle East. Oh yeah, we're gonna liberate the hell out of this place. Okay, we're fighting for SSRIs, benzos, and high fructose corn syrup. How's that working out for America? Not too well. So let me throw something carefully out there and try to avoid another strike on the channel. Keep in mind this channel has had a strike on it the whole time it's been monetized. It's always had either a strike or a warning. Remember the health issues over the past 3 years? Well, one of the co-issues was obesity, which is obviously a huge problem in America, Mexico, and creeping into Canada. So let me ask you this. Why didn't anyone in the government machine mention that obesity was a problem and we need to have a national push to just simply eat less? It's nothing special. There's no pills or diet or special foods or anything required. It's just take what you're eating now and simply eat less of it. Start skipping meals to get below your calorie count. It just boils down to calories in, calories out. Keep in mind that this was under Trump, who is a fat ass himself. I mean, Hillary's a fat ass. Biden's a fat ass too. If you look at him, it's like no, it just because like people seem to accept that if somebody's in their 70, they can be 50 pounds overweight, and you're looking at like, yeah, but they weren't 100 years ago. They weren't even not even 50 years ago. It wasn't like this. Like Trump's probably 100 pounds overweight, but Biden's easily 50 pounds overweight, and as is Hillary. It's like that's not normal. And you look at our leaders, like these are the examples. Yeah, we should have better leaders. And he look at us and goes, oh, maybe we don't deserve better leaders until we improve ourselves. And then suddenly it's like the situation we got two people in a relationship, and one person suddenly, like it's like if one person is making a fitness push and suddenly eating less and exercising, taking care of themselves, kind of breaking out of the matrix. If you're the partner in the relationship, you have to get on board with it because otherwise, like they're living a different lifestyle and they're making a push to the right hand path. And if you like continue on the left hand path, the relationship's probably not gonna last. So like if you see somebody making that push, you absolutely have to get on board with it. Anyway, so keep in mind that was under Trump. But why didn't his council on health and fitness, remember Schwarzenegger from Reagan days? Because the machine wouldn't let him. It's not politically correct to push health. Think how fucked up that is. When you see the cover of women's magazines, no? Or who's that woman who had the hair salon? She was 37. She had a hair salon which had like larger reinforced chairs for the morbidly obese. She was 37. Yeah, she recently passed a couple weeks ago. 37 because she was, over 400 pounds. And it was a hair salon. We're taking back obese beauty. So she was 37 when she passed. So, I mean, is anyone going to talk about that? Very, very carefully. It's like, yeah, why isn't that like a national push? Because the machine doesn't want it to be a national push. There's no national push to eat less and start walking. Like that's simply where it simply starts with just eating less. It's like it will literally save you money. Yeah, you get people on a rice and beans diet with a couple of vegetables thrown in there. It's like start with that. Oh, what about the restaurant industry? Fuck them. What about the health industry? It's like, yeah, you can still go out to restaurants. It's like, but you can't go out to fast food every day. It's got to be a rare occasion. It's like this system is built on these unhealthy habits. okay, well then the structure and the system needs to change because they're built up on this high fructose corn syrup, excessive calorie structure. It's like, yeah, that if it's evil, then you can deconstruct it. What was that movie that came out like 20 years ago? A guy made a movie about the fast food industry, which is kind of like, even when it came out, people are looking at it, and he gained a bunch of pounds because he's forcing himself to eat all this food and drink this high fructose corn syrup. And even at the time, people are coming out, it's like, yeah, but you didn't have to, and you didn't have to drink the high fructose corn syrup. It's like, it didn't really blow the door open on there. The Supersize Me, I think, was part of it. I mean, it was a complex issue, but I mean, anything that helps shine light, I guess, is a good thing. Anyway, so the media machine doesn't want people to get fit. There's more to that situation than that, but that's kind of roughly the issue from 30,000 feet. The machine wants you obese, depressed, cut off from your roots, addicted to the pharmacological industry, especially with the stuff that's going on now, where they've created an industry out of nothing that gets them lifelong patients. I mean, that's so deeply sick. I look at that and go, oh, that's like a Civil War event because there's nothing in the structure that prohibits this or is even working to correct it. So it's like, when you go past those boxes, you get to the ultimate box. Anyway, the machine wants you all these things. It wants you cut off. It wants you isolated, talking to friends less, seeing friends less, not reading facial expressions, not being around people in person. They don't want you at the pub. It's like, oh, gee, where did they plan the revolution? Oh, in pubs. Oh, interesting. They don't want you forming tribal connections. It's okay. It's not okay for you. That is absolutely haram. Anyway, don't say anything in the comments, you assholes. Some of you are mods. If you see comments that will just get the channel removed, yeah, YouTube knows all your dog whistles. Why wouldn't they? There's like, if there's 4 variations on a word, then they just enter it into the computer. It's like they, oh, or I'm gonna trick them by spelling it backwards. But there's a billion YouTube users, and so that word has been spelled backwards 17 million times. I'll put periods in between the words. Yeah, that's been done 5 million times. Oh, okay, well, yeah, no, it's just not what YouTube is for. Go to Telegram. Go to Telegram. Or if you accidentally got kicked out of Telegram, sorry, Box of Frogs. Just get a Google Voice number and you can get back in there because I don't know how to run Telegram. I don't know how to fix Telegram. Is what it is. Anyway, check out Subscribe Story if you wish. And I'll see you guys next episode.